Well, hello there, my amazing Aquarians. Welcome on into a general mid-month reading for the month of October. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing out there. But let's jump into some elemental oracle and see what is going to be in store for you for the remainder of this month. For my Aquarians, if I could even speak today. For Aquarius, you feel less tired, you feel more with it, and you feel more inspirational. Good for you. And so we're beginning with the electricity and the dark matter card, talking about wildness and mystery. And so these being a combination of your energy in the remainder of the month, they really feel there's sort of a spitfire way about you, but it's sort of wrapped up with strategy, I want to say. This mystery being created by your energy, your actions, and even the lack thereof which. And I see you kind of proceeding through the remainder of the month through certain obligations and situations with a bit of a twinkle in your eye. I know that sounds kind of weird to say, but you're quite appreciative and you're recognizing and remembering that you bring such a unique and special quality to literally everything that you wrap yourself up with. And it's sort of a bounce in your way of walking in your steps, or even this sort of sway, this glide that I feel people are quite inspired by and are liking. Let's just put it that way, or they're loving it. And you're showing up in ways that people, again, feel inspired by and just are really into. And, you know, as you start to express yourself and even get levels of releasing taking place, you know, you release in the midst of expressing yourself, you start to feel more and more transformed than ever. And I want to say that you are going to remind yourself of a lot of key facts and levels of knowledge to the point where you then just are able to, interesting, oh, I just said gable, you're then able to apply yourself more effectively. You're able to bond with people more effectively. You're able to gain levels of abundance in different positive forms more effectively and strategically. And I really feel like this is a time for you where there's so much growth within and outside of you, and even within your mental state very specifically, to the point where you are feeling like things are just going to head in the right direction. Things are just going to work out. And if you haven't been feeling as optimistic as you'd like to be, or you usually are, I really see the remainder of the month helping you in regards to this. But I also want to say that, you know, a lot of you, I want to say in general, you guys are very spiritual, right? You're connected to that realm. And it becomes a time period in the next couple or few weeks for you where your spirituality is shifting, it's growing, and it might have already shifted and grown recently as well, but there's more of that if that was the case. And it starts to become a time where you feel empowered because of it, you feel more special because of it, less all over the place because of it, and you just feel like, okay, it's one smart step, one kind of, you know, moment after the other where things just start to work out for you. I don't know why I keep looking over there, because there's something about your childhood really coming into play. There's something about you needing to remember that you've been connected to the spiritual realm, from the very beginning. While it really didn't always benefit you, but you're meant to be a spiritual being. You know, you're meant to be a very intuitive soul, and you're meant to, you know, set the tone. I want to say you're also somebody who is really meant to be an example for other people. That's what I'm getting. An example for other people. How is that going to be looking, and how are we going to experience that individually? I want to say as well, you're going to be seeing certain colors in the remainder of October as a point of realization is what I'm getting, a message of importance. But what does each color that's being pointed out to you give you as far as a feeling, maybe an emotion, or it could be a reminder once again. But it's just the sense of you feeling maybe like you need to catch your breath in the midst of this electrifying energy, but I don't see you having an issue with it, because maybe things have been feeling dull. Maybe things have been feeling too repeated, too expected, kind of blah, right? And maybe that blah feeling comes and it goes for you specifically, but regardless, it's a time period where you feel more alive. You feel like you can take charge. You feel like You know, people are looking to you for a lot more, but that in and of itself feels fulfilling. That in and of itself leaves you feeling like, I've got it going on. And you absolutely do. But life at times, all that it entails, leaves you forgetting this or not fully realizing it in certain moments. But I don't see you forgetting this or not realizing this moving forward, because this Aquarian collective has it going on. And you're reminding people, which I feel you typically do as an Aquarius, be different, be special, just be yourself. You don't know who you are currently or fully, along your path moving forward, but we're all in the midst of this self-discovery, this sort of figuring it out process, whether we feel we have it all figured out or not. I guarantee those of which who you are crossing paths with in the remainder of this month and in general do not have it fully figured out, right? And so the remainder of October is a time where you start to kind of bond with people in regards to this. You remind people of this, like I was saying. There's something about school, all right? You're remembering things about school. Maybe some of you are in the midst of, education and whatnot, furthering yourself in that sense. But I want to say as well, it's like a lot of you have or are at this point spiritually graduating. You know, it's really intertwining quite nicely or coinciding nicely with the shift within your spirituality. While spirits are saying, take a bow, my friend. It doesn't always feel easy up until this point, right? And you know this firsthand. You could probably even teach a few people about spirituality and about being an intuitively strong individual. But I feel like there's something about the energy getting you ready to teach others more about what you've been through, because it will really help them in regards to being maybe, an earlier stage within their spirituality or their path in general. But it's a time where you get to now sort of get pumped up and excited about sharing selectively what you've been through so you can help other people. And I feel that is at least part of your individual Aquarian destiny. Where you were pacing back and forth, where you were sitting agitated, or your leg was going up and down, or you were just kind of moving around, even if it was just your arms, your hands, there's a lot more still energy, right? And it's interesting to say in the midst of this main energy coming out, but it's to say that spirits aren't effing with you as much anymore. The energy isn't as heavily affecting you, or you're managing it a lot better. And so regardless of how it ends up pertaining to you, you're not pacing back and forth like you once were. You're sitting still and you're standing still, all right? And I'm not saying that there isn't levels of movement and a lot of accomplishing, because there is. But it just feels like you are, there's a struggle. You are just coming off and feeling a lot less negatively affected, a lot less anxious for some. Congratulations, because that is super important. But the King of Swords was the one I awkwardly kind of knocked out of the deck, as it is a period where you're being viewed at as a true shining star, but somebody who's advanced, right? Again, you graduated. Somebody who is knowledgeable, wise, has maybe for a lot of you lived many lives. Now, you're going to feel a little bit energetically kind of distracted or torn in certain directions, but then the difference that I see for you is you're not choosing to be like, all over the place, but rather you're saying, okay, that distracted me. Maybe there's purpose to it, right? It could help you with what is at hand, or maybe is at hand moving forward, or things just kind of take your attention in multiple different directions, and you either selectively choose what actually will get your attention and resources after that, or you just say, okay, all of it needs my attention, everything for that matter needs me, and I just felt special in that moment, and so I'm going to prioritize, right? I'm not going to even necessarily multitask, because I don't see that being the best route for you, the best strategy, but you prioritize. And so it's playing into your spirituality, helping you more and being less against you, but it's also you finally feeling like you can choose in the moment, right? You can actually navigate correctly. And I see this being a time where it's like a breath of fresh air in the midst of you maybe beginning to wrap something up that isn't meant to last long term, or you're just finding it sort of a new chapter you're sort of productively and slowly stepping into within continuing situations, or one in particular. All right. But either way, it's a shifting period where I feel this collective is on the up and up. Things are going to feel new, things are going to feel refreshing, and things will feel so damn special. Now, that was a reading. So that is what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope it was truly helpful. The remainder of the month is going to be super amazing for you. Do take care.